What's going on, Warpath family? Well, we're back with another video. If you guys are new to the channel, consider smashing that subscribe button. I sure do appreciate it. And if you like the content, a thumbs up is always great. In today's video, guys, we are going to go over some of the key elements of a good base defense. Now, keep in mind, guys, that if somebody has maxed out everything, you're probably going to go down pretty easy. So it depends on the circumstance and situation. Also, how old your server is, you know? So there are some key factors involved in here, but these are basic elements and these are key factors, guys, to help you defend your base against an enemy when he's close. And even if he gets you down, at least you can try to get as many kills as you can, because even the top players go down. So if you guys are interested into the video, give it a, give it a little while, because, it's going to take me 10 minutes or so to talk about this. But hey, if you stick in there, there might be some cookies and stuff at the end of it. No, just playing. Anyway, guys, stay tuned to the video. First thing, guys, that I want to go over, and there are many different circumstances and situations. I want you guys to know that in every server, it's a little bit different. And that's the beauty of it, guys, is because no matter how many of these units and types, each server, each person is going to have their own style and their own units that they've keyed in on. And you might not have things that directly counter it, or you might have them. But that's the great thing about it. A strategy game should be one in which each person can customize their own thing that is beneficial to their, overall defense and overall offense. So I want you guys to know that even though everybody kind of has these meta, these troop setups, these specific styles and play tactics that they use and they promote throughout, the key factor always involved is adapting to your surroundings, because every single time it's going to be a little different. Now, a lot of the times, most of the strategies might not work, but I just want you guys to know every server is a little bit different, and I've played in some of them. So I want you guys to know that. All right. The very first thing, guys, that most people talk about in today's time of base defense is the maxed out officer Antonina Shevchenko. Okay. She, right here, gives an extra trajectory of +1. That poses a little bit of a problem. Not only that, but she's pretty strong on her skill. So she does a lot of damage. Okay. And how does that affect you? Well, if you have her, and let's just say, I'm right here. If I'm, as you can see my radius, if I had her maxed, she would be able to attack this, but the Raven wouldn't move towards. But if I'm within 5, if I try to charge her up, look how the unit comes at me. Do you see that, guys? So it's activated the Raven, it comes towards you. You will notice that other people that have her maxed out, the Raven or the bunker won't fire off on them, and they're able to charge the officer's skill. And what that means is they can stay close to their base and they can pop in and out right here and charge the skill and be able to defend themselves rather well with a maxed out Antonina. Here's the key. What happens if you don't have her? What happens if the person beneath you or around you that's attacking you doesn't or does have maxed out Antonina? Well, all is not lost. However, it is a little bit of a open field concept. Okay, guys, so it is subjectable to getting damaged. Just want you guys to know. But let's say that the person right next to you is attacking you with a maxed out Antonina, right? As soon as that person initiates an attack on your base, all of your units will go in and your base will turn red, right? Which means that the aggressor has aggressed you. Well, the good thing about that is that the next time that you see the person charging up the skill or has the unit out, you can pop out one of your arty, and because you have came out one grid, so you see how that was in, double click, that's one grid, right? Because of that one extra grid, now you are even with that person. Here's the key. If that person is quick enough on the draw, right, that person can switch it to hit your units. And now the skill damage just did damage on your units, and now you have to retrain. That's the key there. But if they're not quick enough on the draw, if you get it out, what does it do? Well, because they are the aggressor, and I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen this, but once you have been attacked by an aggressor, by a person, then from then on, your artillery or your base will fire off immediately because they're the aggressor, right? So by having out a unit, it will fire off on their unit immediately. So you kind of trade these licks. You go back and forth. Like maybe you get some of their units, they hit your base, the skill damage does quite a bit, and you play this stupid artillery game back and forth strategy going on, right? Okay, now, then the person is most likely going to send out a tank or something to try to kill your artillery, right? Here's the key though, and this is what's so good. If I bait them and I have my artillery out, as soon as they drive up their tank to hit my artillery, I pop back in. But guess what? Because they have attacked my base, and because my units are inside of my base, all of those units will fire off then on that unit. And most of the time, it's going to be a slow unit like a super heavy or a heavy that's going to take a little while, and you're going to get some kills off of that. And so that's a good game to play. However, that strategy will not work if your units come out from what I call aggro, or that they're not in defense mode. So if a player waits for your units to come out into their barracks, then you will have this reset or time reset that will happen, and that specific strategy won't work. So you need to keep them involved and engaged continually. As long as you keep them hitting your base, whether they're trying to do skill damage on it or they're trying to drive up and attack, like maybe even let them get one hit, so they drive up, boom, they get one hit with a tank, you know what I mean? Then you pop back in. But guess what? They're an aggressor, so it's going to fire off immediately or whatever. Now, this strategy that I'm telling you guys about, there's one caveat to this, okay, guys? The strength of the troops. If I'm telling you this and you say, Grant, it didn't work for me, you know, this was totally frustrating, the guy just decimated me, but is the guy have a 4 million march? Is the guy like a maxed out level 32? Is he, 50 million power and you're barely 20 million power? Like even mine, look at this. It comes out, look at this, 1.5 million power. Well, guess what? A 3 million power artillery march or a, 3.5 million power tank that comes up against this, these guys ain't going to do so well. They're not going to do a whole lot of damage. So it's relative to how close you're fighting. If you're fighting a player that's similar power marches and stuff, these strategies will work really well. Don't get too frustrated if the person has, a max 7.2 super heavy that's, 4 million power march, and your guys fire off and it don't do hardly nothing to them. And in the meantime, the guy has the artillery in the back and he's hitting your base 2-3 times, and now you're getting frustrated. I'm bringing this up, guys, because it happens quite a bit, okay? And there's nothing really you can do about it. If a player is 2 or 3 times your size, these are the things that you kind of have to deal with. Now, what I do personally is when the super heavy tank is coming up, you can pop out your units and pop them back in, double click, or you can select all, pop them all out, garrison them back in, and your base will change the target to maybe the artillery. How fast that person counteracts and goes back into his base, that's on him. How, is it laggy? Is it not laggy? There's a lot of things that are factors here that kind of get you frustrated, but you can change aggro just by simply, double clicking back and forth. Also, Another thing that you can do is you can send out to your unit to their artillery to try to get some of their artillery more, key in on their artillery. Like I said, if they're the aggressor, you can literally, click the attack button on their unit, on their artillery, even though they're super heavies right here. Forget that super heavy. Click it on the, artillery, get you 60 kills or so, put your stuff back in your base, and keep on going back and forth like that, getting you kills and kills and kills. Doesn't mean that your base is going to continually survive. Doesn't mean that you're always going to survive in that atmosphere. No, your base might get totally burned out. But if you're online and you click relocate, guess what? They got 0 kills off of it. You got maybe 100, 150, 200 kills off of it. And all you lost was what, 7, 8 hours that your base will heal anyway? I mean, to me, that's a win, especially on a bigger player or whatever. Those are just the games that you have to play. Anyway, that is one thing that I probably would suggest the most to players that are trying to defend against other players in the battlefield. And you definitely want artillery, and you definitely want, a strong tanking unit. Okay, guys. Anyway, we have some more things coming up with a lot of different topics, but that's for next time. It's almost 10 minutes long. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. Till next time. Peace.